Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Today is Figure Friday. Now this is the first of a two-part episode in which I'll be making a regiment of dragoons from the Imperial French Army in the Napoleonic Wars. I'll be using 18mm figures from AB. Those are the ones designed by the wonderful Tony Barton. Now in this program I'll be looking at what dragoons actually were. I'll be looking at how they were organised and then the figures I've actually bought to make them. In the next video I'll be showing you how to paint them and then how to put them onto bases. Now if you like the video, and I hope you do, then please do remember first of all to like it by clicking the little thumbs up symbol down there, and if you haven't done so already you might want to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is click on my logo down there in the bottom right corner. Of course, if you want to support future productions, you can do that either through super thanks down there, which lets me know which videos in particular you like, or if you just like the whole channel, why not do this through Patreon or through Buy Me a Coffee. Links to both of those are in the information box below. Okay, let's get on then and see all about the French dragoons of the Napoleonic era. The first dragoons were founded in the 16th century and were originally troops that used horses for mobility but then got off and fought on foot. The name derives from the Dragoon, a kind of wide-bore handgun that early dragoons carried. By the age of Napoleon, the French dragoon was used primarily as medium cavalry between the lighter hussars and chevaux légers and the powerhouse cuirassiers and carabiniers. They still often deployed on foot, especially where horses were scarce, but when fully mounted they formed complete divisions in the army. However, they still carried the long dragoon musket into battle. The dragoons are something of the Cinderellas of the cavalry, their horses not being as big and expensive as the cuirassiers, and their uniforms not as flashy and expensive as the hussars. But they generally served well in a wide variety of roles, from heavy cavalry in the battlefield to reconnaissance and urban fighting. Their uniform was principally green, with coloured facings depending on the regiment, with a very distinctive Grecian helmet with its large black horsehair mane. Napoleon's cavalry followed roughly the same organisation throughout. In the dragoons, the smallest tactical unit was the company, reflecting their infantry roots, and on campaign this would typically be between 60 and 80 officers and men. Two companies formed the squadron, the smallest unit normally allowed any form of independent action. However, most of the time, 4 squadrons would combine to form the regiment. Squadrons were simply numbered from 1 to 4. In the dragoons, each company retained a number as well, the 1st and 5th companies forming the 1st squadron, the 2nd and 6th companies the 2nd squadron, and so on. Note that the 1st company was normally designated as an elite company. Looking at the 1st squadron then, and I'm going to use 6 figures to represent around about 120 men, quite typical for campaign size. Each company block has 3 figures. So for the 1st company, I'll use 3 elite trooper figures. Then there is an eagle bearer. The dragoons carried an eagle instead of a regimental flag most of the time. Then I'll have an officer and of course a trumpeter. This completes the 1st squadron. The 2nd to 4th squadrons each have 4 dragoon troopers as well as an officer and an attendant trumpeter. So putting all that together, we get this layout for the regiment. Our shopping list is for 3 elite troopers, 1 eagle bearer, 4 officers, 4 trumpeters and 12 dragoons. Details of all of these are in the information box below. Now to look at the figures, and I've already put them on their horses using a bit of 2-part epoxy cement. First is the Dragoon trooper. Here I'm using the slightly later uniform where the side plume has been replaced by a pom-pom. Nonetheless, the Grecian helmet is still well represented and will be quite the challenge to paint. You can also clearly see the long Dragoon musket slung over the right leg. Then we have an elite company trooper. These wore grenadier-style bearskins instead of the Grecian helmets and had a large shoulder strap with fringe. Otherwise, very similar to the regular trooper. Next is the first of the officer figures. You'll notice the lack of rear saddle box behind him, and of course he doesn't carry a musket. Officers just didn't do that kind of thing. Then there's this slightly more enthusiastic officer with sword raised high. Allons, mes braves, pour la France! Next is the eagle bearer. This would be the embodiment of the regiment, something touched by the hand of the emperor himself and would be defended to the death. Now the trumpeter, the essential signalling device for the regiment. Normally there'd be 4 trumpeters for each squadron so everyone could hear the orders. Even dismounted dragoons used trumpeters for signalling. Finally, this wholly more excited trumpeter. Instrument aloft and helmet mane flowing in the breeze. What a lovely figure. There we have it then, the figures for the regiment of French dragoons. Do remember to come back for the next video in which I'll show how I paint them and then put them on bases. Keep an eye out on the channel for that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, do please remember to like it down there or to click the logo in the bottom right to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. In any case, I'll see you next time.